Many people start their professional life with a fixed idea. I need to find a job that pays well. It's natural, we have bills to pay, dreams to fulfill, and responsibilities. But Robert Kiyosaki proposes a thought that might sound strange at first. Don't work just for money, work to learn. Sounds crazy? Let me explain. Imagine a young man named Lucas. He received 2 job offers. One was at a prestigious office with a good salary and benefits. The other was at a small store with a much lower salary, but where he would have the chance to learn how to sell, deal with customers, negotiate and solve problems every day. Lucas chose the store. People thought he was throwing away his opportunity, but what no one saw was that he was investing in knowledge. In a short time, Lucas could sell better than any of his peers. He learned how to deal with rejection, understand what people really want, and more importantly, he discovered how to generate money, not just how to receive it. A few years later, while Lucas's friends were still waiting for a promotion, he opened his own business, and everything he learned at the store became his foundation. Today, he hires people, he understands finance, and he knows that knowledge is worth more than any temporary pay raise. Kiyosaki lived this in real life. He took lower-paying jobs just to learn strategic skills, sales, marketing, investing, leadership, because he knew that the more he understood the game of money, the more freedom he would have in the future. Money comes and goes, but what you learn that stays with you forever, and that's what opens the door to truly multiplying your income. Now stop and think, are you working just for the paycheck, or are you building your freedom? Most people run away from problems. They complain, blame the government, the company, the boss, the system. But Robert Kiyosaki teaches the opposite. If you want to get rich, you need to run toward problems, not away from them. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's easy to understand. Money is a reward for solving problems. The bigger the problem you can solve, the greater your reward will be. Let's imagine Camilla's story. Camilla worked at a regular company, did the basics, got paid the basics, until one day, the company's system went down and no one could serve the customers. Everyone was lost. Instead of waiting for instructions, Camilla volunteered to help manually reorganize the service. She stayed late, organized spreadsheets, called customers, and solved the chaos. At the end of the month, she didn't just receive praise, she got promoted. The company saw that she solves problems, while others only follow orders. Later, she realized, if solving problems inside a company brought recognition, solving problems for the whole market could bring financial freedom. And that's when she started her own business, solving a pain point that many people had and turned that into profit. Kiyosaki says, financial intelligence doesn't come from reading books, but from facing real challenges, solving everyday problems, at home, at work, for your customers. Every obstacle you overcome increases your ability to generate wealth. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And the more problems you learn to face, the more prepared you are to build assets, handle crises, and seize opportunities. Do you want to be well paid? Then start solving the problems that no one else wants to face. You work hard, save money, put aside a little each month, but without realizing it, you're letting your money slip through your fingers and worse, handing it over to those who profit from your ignorance. Robert Kiyosaki calls these traps financial predators. They're everywhere. Banks that charge hidden fees, credit cards with abusive interest rates, experts who tell you where to invest, but get commissions even when you lose money. Let's tell Eduardo's story. He was always a responsible guy, paid his bills on time, saved part of his salary in a savings account, and trusted his bank manager. When he had some extra money, the manager suggested a special product that promised safe returns. What Eduardo didn't know was that this product yielded less than inflation. In other words, he was losing purchasing power without even realizing it. And the bank? It earned commissions on every penny he put there. One day, Eduardo read a book by Kiyosaki and understood If you don't study, someone else will study to use your money against you. And that's what he did. He began studying investments, understood how compound interest, mutual funds, stocks, and real estate worked, and he learned how to make money work for him instead of handing it over to others. The truth is simple: no one will take better care of your money than you. So question everything. Ask how the fees work, compare options, learn to read contracts. Don't blindly trust ready-made advice, especially from those who profit from it. You may not be a financial expert, but you don't have to be easy prey. If money is the fruit of your effort, protect it like something precious, because that's exactly what it is, the key to your freedom. Here's a principle so simple that many people ignore it. It doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is how much you keep. Robert Kiyosaki insists, it's not about how much comes in, it's about how much you retain and reinvest that determines your freedom. Let's imagine Juliana's story. Juliana had a good salary. She worked as an analyst at a big company, had her own car, rented an apartment, and loved eating out on weekends. Life was good, until she looked at her bank account and realized that month after month there was nothing left. And worse, sometimes she even had to use her credit card to cover the last days of the month. That's when she learned a transformative concept: pay yourself first. Instead of waiting to save what was left at the end of the month, Juliana started setting aside a portion of her income as soon as it hit her account. Even if it was a small amount, 10%, 5%, that amount was untouchable. It was her future salary, as she called it. And it was with that surplus that Juliana took her first step toward freedom. She used it to learn about investments, bought small assets, built an emergency fund. Today, her lifestyle is still comfortable, but with awareness and strategy. The truth is, many people increase their salary and also increase their expenses. They get a new car, a new phone, move to a more expensive apartment, and the result is the same. They stay stuck. Because freedom is not measured by your lifestyle, it's measured by how much money you keep working for you. Spending less than you earn isn't deprivation, it's liberation. It's using the present wisely to build a future where you depend on no one. Want to live peacefully? Then first, learn how to have money left at the end of the month. Have you ever heard someone say, "I bought it because I deserve it"? It sounds good, but it can be a straight path to debt, especially when the purchase brings no return, only expenses. Robert Kiyosaki teaches a powerful rule. Before buying any liability, like a car, a new phone, or even a trip, create or buy an asset that generates enough income to pay for it. That way, your investments pay for your lifestyle, not your direct effort. Let's look at Felipe's story. Felipe dreamed of buying a new car. The model he wanted was beautiful, modern, but the installment would consume half of his salary. Instead of going into debt, he did something different. He used the money he had saved to buy a small vending machine, those snack machines for offices. He installed the machine in a clinic, split the profit with the owners, and every month received passive income. 3 months later, he bought a second machine, and by the time he got to the fourth, the income generated by them was already enough to pay for the car he wanted, without touching his salary. Kiyosaki calls this using the investor's mindset. It's thinking before acting. It's asking, will what I want to buy make me richer or poorer? A liability takes money out of your pocket. An asset puts money in. If you let your assets pay for your liabilities, you'll enjoy life without creating bad debt, without anxiety, and with much more security. The question is, are you spending what you earn, or are you teaching your money to work for you? When money gets tight, most people have a natural reaction. Cut everything: leisure, courses, investments, even food. But Robert Kiyosaki teaches us something that seems completely against common sense. In times of crisis, that's exactly when you need to invest even more, especially in yourself. Let's hear Andre's story. Andre was in debt. His business was struggling, the bills were piling up, and he could barely sleep at night from so much worry. He thought about selling everything, closing shop, cutting anything that wasn't essential. But before doing that, he decided to try one more thing. He took what little he had left and invested in knowledge. He took an intensive digital marketing course, learned how to sell online, how to create ads, how to understand customer behavior. In 3 weeks, he used that new knowledge to launch a campaign. The result? His sales tripled. He got out of the crisis, not by cutting but through strategic expansion. Kiyosaki explains that there is such a thing as good debt, the kind used to acquire assets or generate learning that brings a return. It's different from consumer debt, which only holds you back. That's why, in tough times, he teaches, invest time, focus, and if possible, some resources into creating new paths, not just trying to survive through cutbacks. Those who think small during a crisis shrink, but those who think like investors find solutions where others only see despair. Don't run from the problem. Invest to overcome it, even if it's with little, with fear, with uncertainty. Because that's how the game begins to change. Saving money is important, but letting it sit idle, earning nothing, is like trying to fill a bucket with holes. Robert Kiyosaki insists on this. Investing wisely is what separates those who merely survive from those who reach financial freedom. And here's the key point. Real investing is not putting all your money in a savings account or following whatever your bank manager says. It's about studying, understanding, analyzing. It's knowing where to place your money so it comes back with friends. Let's hear Mariana's story. Mariana had been saving money for years. Her dream was to feel secure, but she left all her money sitting in a checking account and sometimes moved it to savings because it was safer. One day, while listening to a podcast on financial education, she learned that savings accounts don't even keep up with inflation. In other words, she was losing purchasing power without realizing it. That's when she decided to learn. She read books, took free courses, studied real estate, stocks, and real estate funds. She didn't become an expert overnight, but she understood the basics. How to analyze risk, how to diversify, how to protect her capital. Little by little, Mariana transformed her idle savings into an investment portfolio that generated passive income every month. And most importantly, she understood exactly where every cent was invested. Investing is not gambling, it's not following fads, it's using money wisely to buy time, freedom, and peace of mind. Kiyosaki reinforces those who study investments and develop this skill start playing a different game. Because those who invest well don't depend on a job. They don't depend on luck. They depend on their own knowledge. Do you want freedom? Then you need to learn how to multiply what you already have. We live in the information age, but as Robert Kiyosaki says, it's not the quantity of information that matters, it's your ability to interpret and use it strategically. Most people are drowning in data, news, videos, opinions, and still don't know what to do with it. The result? They make poor, confused decisions or act out of fear. Let me tell you about Ricardo. Ricardo wanted to invest, so he started following dozens of YouTube channels, read finance websites, joined WhatsApp groups, constantly heard hot tips. One person told him to buy a certain stock, another said the world was ending, another hyped crypto, another suggested gold. Confused, he began investing in everything and lost money. Then he realized his problem wasn't lack of information, it was lack of a filter. Ricardo stopped, went back to the basics. He learned to analyze sources, check numbers, compare data, understand the context. He began making decisions based on facts, not rumors or emotions. Kiyosaki always says, the rich interpret data, the poor react to headlines. Those who don't know how to filter information keep jumping from one promise to another, always waiting for a miracle. But those who develop a critical eye become strategists, and strategists don't chase money. They attract it with intelligence. If you want to grow financially, learn to verify before trusting, analyze before acting, study before following advice, because in the information age, ignorance is a choice. A lot of people focus only on one part of financial life, like earning more, for example, and forget about the rest. You can study finance, learn about investments, understand how assets work, create a detailed plan. But if you don't have the courage to act, none of it will matter. Robert Kiyosaki is clear. What separates those who achieve financial freedom from those who only dream about it is courage. Courage to leave the comfort zone, to face criticism, to try, fail, adjust, and try again. Take Denise's story. Denise always wanted to be an entrepreneur. She had a good idea, studied, planned, saved money, but never started. Fear held her back. What if it goes wrong? What if I lose everything? What if people laugh at me? Until one day, after hearing advice from a mentor, she decided, I don't need to be ready. I need to be willing. She opened her small business, promoted it with what she had, made mistakes in the beginning, but learned quickly. Today, what started with insecurity became her main source of income. And the most surprising part? It wasn't the plan, it wasn't the money, it was the courage to take the first step. Kiyosaki says, fear keeps us poor, courage sets us free. Fear of losing money, fear of looking foolish, fear of being judged by family or friends. These fears keep millions of people stuck, working hard, but going nowhere. But those who act even with fear set themselves in motion. And motion is what creates learning, generates opportunities, and builds wealth. You don't need to know everything to start, but you do need to start to discover how far you can go. Knowledge prepares you, but courage transforms you. We live in a time where looking rich is more valued than actually being rich. Expensive watches, imported cars, international trips, all over social media. But behind the photos, there's often a maxed-out credit card, installment payments, and hidden anxiety. Robert Kiyosaki warns, true wealth is silent. Let's take a look at Samuel's story. Samuel was discreet. He lived in a modest apartment, drove an ordinary car, and rarely showed off what he had. While many of his peers were busy flaunting their lifestyle, he was building something no one could see. A diversified investment portfolio, rental properties, and shares in profitable businesses. Years later, when a financial crisis hit, the fake rich vanished. They sold their cars, cut the luxuries, and went back to square one. Samuel? He remained calm. With passive income coming in every month, no debt, and the freedom to choose how to live his life. Because, as Kiyosaki says, being rich isn't about what you show, it's about what you sustain when everything around you shakes. Those who try to impress others lose focus on what truly matters: stability, peace, and freedom. But those who focus on building real wealth live with more purpose and less pressure. So ask yourself, do you want to look rich or be truly free? A lot of people still believe that someday, as if by magic, they'll get rich. Maybe by winning the lottery, inheriting something, or landing an overnight business success. But Robert Kiyosaki teaches something much more powerful and realistic. Financial freedom doesn't happen all at once. It's built little by little, like a habit. Take Renata's example. Renata never made a lot of money. She worked as a teacher and in the beginning could barely save anything. But she decided that every month, no matter how little, she would invest in herself and in assets. $10 here, $20 there, sometimes just $5. But she never stopped. Years went by. She bought a small plot of land. Then she invested in real estate funds, took courses, taught private lessons online. And little by little, she built a life that didn't depend solely on her salary. Today, Renata still lives simply, but with freedom. She chooses where she works, when she travels, and how much time she spends with her family. What changed? She understood that wealth is not a final destination. It's a way of walking. It's deciding every day to take small steps, even when no one is watching, even when the result still seems far away. Financial freedom is not a finish line. It's a journey built with awareness, consistency, and courage. So the question is, are you waiting to get rich? Or are you already building your freedom right now, even in silence? Now you know, true financial freedom isn't about luck or some magical formula. It's a process. It's a journey made of conscious decisions, daily wins, and above all, the courage to think differently from the majority. Robert Kiyosaki didn't get rich because he was lucky. He got rich because he learned the rules of the game and had the courage to play it with strategy. And now those same rules are in your hands. You can keep living on autopilot, waiting for a raise, or you can take control of your financial life and build a reality where money works for you, not the other way around. The choice is yours, and if this message made sense to you, if in some way it sparked something or helped you see things more clearly, then share this video with someone who needs to hear this too. And, of course, subscribe to the channel right now. Here, we talk about money with truth, strategy, and awareness. No magic, no fluff, because you deserve more than just paying bills. You deserve to live with purpose, freedom, and without fear at the end of the month. See you in the next video.